Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Premier League review show for Matchday 6. Flying through the year. It's sort of almost like a quarter through the season. It's crazy. Table sort of settling a little bit. For some teams better, for other teams not.
I'm not sure I would say it'd be settling. Like, after this week's
You've got Liverpool and Arsenal at the top. City are back there.
Yeah. Liverpool dropping points, though, which had opened it up. Like,
Yep.
It was an interesting week, but yeah,
Because you got right now you got Liverpool first, Arsenal second, Palace third, Spurs fourth, Sunderland fifth, Bournemouth, City, and Chelsea in the top 8.
The only thing is, like, I feel like for teams, Palace, like, is doing well, but they're not going to finish third. They'll probably finish like 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
And that would even be an amazing season.
I think
Sunderland's
the big one.
I think Sunderland, like, they're not sitting in relegation this year.
It looks like not. It doesn't look like it.
But
like they're in
I
great
think,
form.
like, do I still see them finishing top 10? Probably not. Maybe if they can push like 11, 12, which I reckon is very doable at this time now.
It'd be very impressive finishing 11 to 12th. I think Bournemouth and Palace will be there. It's about where in that sort of top 8. But I agree with you. Sunderland probably drop out. They'll probably finish around 13th. And we'll get on, I guess, to some of the other teams. Newcastle United and Villa, all very slow starters. And West Ham play Everton tonight in the final fixture for this weekend.
Yep.
That's the table wrap. Key talking point, I'm going to start with mine, which is Crystal Palace flying. The Eagles are flying this season. I'll tell you what a game. It was one of the few games this weekend. I was a bit busy this weekend, so I didn't watch many games in whole totality. Watched that game, though, because I thought, I just feel something was going to happen in that game, and boy, did something happen. Late winner for Crystal Palace. Nketiah as well. I forgot that he was even there. He'd been injured for so long. And a great game as well, back and forth, chances both ends. But I tell you what, it's 18 unbeaten now for Crystal Palace. They've beaten Man City in the FA Cup final. They've beaten Liverpool now twice in the Community Shield and the league. They're unbeaten, obviously, in the Conference League as well. This could be an historic season for them. Could be a Conference League title. And like we were just saying there, maybe a top 8 or like even a top 6 finish this season in the league. Because right now it looks like teams can't beat them. That's the thing. It's looking like Forest of last season where teams, you know they're going to counterattack. You know they're going to sit in. They're going to have the speed on the break. But no one has been able to stop them yet. And I kept saying this with Forest last year. I'm like, when will teams find them out? They never did.
It's crazy with Palace because when you look at them, like, you'd say they've downgraded with the last 2 seasons losing Elise and Eze.
Yep.
So, like, I think Elise, they still had Eze last year, but, like, losing both, that's their real, like, X factor. Like, sure, they got Mateta and stuff, but I wouldn't classify their other players more as X factors. They're more just role players who, as you put them in combination, they seem to work well together.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how they can hold on if there's a few injuries, etc. Because I don't know. I think I think they lack the X factor, but it showed with Forest last year. You don't necessarily need that top echelon X factor.
That's what I was thinking. Probably the next best is Ismail Assar. I'll talk about him a little bit later on, but I'll tell you what, he looks like he's the next guy. I feel like there's like a production line at Palace. It's like make superstars, sell them off.
He has been around for a while now.
That's the thing about Ismail Assar. He's 26, I think, turning 27.
I'm trying to think when he was around back in the Watford days.
I think he played in that game that got Ole sacked. I think it was one of those sort of... But look, he went to France for a season, came back to Palace, was okay at the start of last season, unbelievable at the end of last season. But it seems like Elise, Eze, and Ismail Assar, whoever is in this Palace side, they seem to perform. And I think it's down to Oliver Glasner. Like, I want to group him in here with the Crystal Palace side because what a manager. Won the Europa League with Frankfurt a few years ago. Unbelievable work with Palace last season. We can't forget they were 18th this time last year. They were really struggling, but he stays patient, gets them into that European spot. And it's going to be difficult, like you said, with injuries because they're in the Conference League. They're going to be playing 2 games a week for most of this season. But if anyone can do it, I trust this manager. In this modern game we're in right now, managers are making a difference. You look around the leagues, like United are struggling, so were Spurs, and so are Nottingham Forest and coach teams. You need to be a serious manager that can adjust in games that is going to be successful. And you can see that with some of the top managers like Glasner and like Areola. So, yeah, that's my key talking point. How good were Crystal Palace to beat Liverpool on the weekend? That was, for me, the biggest from the weekend. And then for yourself, your key talking point this weekend.
Well, I didn't want to do this, but it seems like it leads me in here. Is has Amorim died on the sword with Bruno?
I think he absolutely has. Absolutely has.
Like, has it been like they didn't go sign a midfielder? We're now playing him at the 8 where we know he's way better at the 10. We saw him at the back end of last year, what he did as one of those 2 10s.
Yeah.
He goes and signs Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko. Did we need all 3 when we also had Ahmed? And was one of those 3 better? And maybe not Sesko, but like, was one of Mbeumo and Cunha better off signing a proper midfielder?
Yeah, 100%.
Or even 2.
Because, look, those 2 being there is great, but you can't get the ball to them without a 6 or 8.
That's the thing, and I'm big on it's won and lost in the midfield.
Yeah.
It always has been. And it shows, because if you can break down a midfield, you're running at a defence, and from there it's like, take your pick. Sometimes it's going to pay off, sometimes it won't. But the best teams are the ones that they don't even let it get there.
Yeah.
And if they do get there, they've got a midfielder who's putting pressure on where they can skew a pass, etc. So it seems to me like Amorim's, going to, well, I'd say he has died by the sword.
Yeah.
Which flows on to my losers. Like, it's inevitable he's getting sacked.
The race is it Ange? Is it him? Or is it like, who else is close to
I just don't think it'll be Ange. And I know the Forest boss is big on it, but I think he seems to have like something for Ange.
Yeah.
I think like maybe the Greek connection or something. I don't know, but I don't think you can sign Ange and just because what he did at Spurs, expect him to come out the gates flying with a team which is probably of a lot less
quality. I don't have them written down this week. I think I want to talk about.
I'm not sure Amorim survives the end of today.
Yeah, this going out on Monday, so it'll be midday Monday over the UK. I reckon by the evening he's gone. And I also reckon that, like, obviously Potter's gone now, Nuno's gone there, but I reckon we could see a few other managers very, very close to going. As I said, I reckon Postecoglou, as much as we say, Greek connection, I wouldn't be surprised in the next 3 weeks if he's gone
in
as
the next 3 weeks, but he's not gone.
No, not today, but like I think there's going to be a roll-on effect because I think United will either target Iriola or Glasner, maybe Southgate. But if they nick one of the Bournemouth or Crystal Palace managers, it could be a crazy manager market mid-season, which is just mental, realistically.
In your opinion, if they do nick an Iriola or a Glasner, are they in the path to fail? Like, if you were a Glasner or Iriola, are you waiting for another job knowing how good you're doing and going like maybe a City, maybe an Arsenal, like if Arteta doesn't succeed?
That's a very valid point, but for some reason everyone chooses United. Sesko, Cunha, Mbeumo. Like, everyone seems to choose United. Like, I don't know why.
But are these players choosing United? And don't get me wrong, they are good quality players. And they could go to good quality teams anywhere in Europe. But let's talk about the Prem. Are these other Prem teams actually in for them? Like, we know that Arsenal
was Newcastle in for him.
Yeah.
Cunha was...
But I don't think we can get... The problem is, although Newcastle now is a more established in that top echelon of teams, they're not a bigger club. And I still think, though, when you compare United to like Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, players would rather go there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to talk about the teams that have been good in the last 5 years but aren't big clubs. Let's compare big clubs that are, and then talk about, okay, where are you going, Liverpool or United? You know what I mean?
It makes sense. If you're a manager, I guess you want to save your career. Because at the moment, you die by the United sword, it feels like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I look at this team at the moment and sure, I don't see it being a Premier League. Like, they're being Premier League champions, but there's enough there. And is it one of the things, is it the 3-5-2 doesn't work?
Yeah, I say that's probably the biggest thing. Because both those managers come in, they play either fullback, maybe Glasner can make it a 5-back. I don't know, but they'll probably both like to play fullback. And you watch.
But I don't think they'd want to play it a 5-back. I think it would be more like, in the end, they'll probably play like Mbeumo out wide like he originally did at Brentford.
Yeah. See, Glasner has the 5-back working well. Obviously, it's Crystal Palace at different levels, right? But he's got the two wing backs, like not wingers, wing backs in Mitchell and Munoz. The problem is, do United have wing backs other than Dorgu? Probably not as well.
Delod's done it, but
He's not very good at it though. That's
No.
Munoz and Tyreek Mitchell are speedsters up and down that flank. So
yeah, it's interesting. I think until they, the only good thing I think maybe about like a Glasner, maybe for example, is I think he'd love like Mainu and bring him back into the
intensity.
fold.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think he'd make the midfield so much better.
yeah, I just think that the way United play, I can kind of understand why Amorim doesn't play him, because he's got Bruno in that kind of energetic role, but although he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like taking a blind bloody horse to go and run a race. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're running it.
And then the other person's supposed to be this person that just protects the defense. But what happens is it ends up being like Bruno pushes into some wide area.
And it's one out.
And it's like one out in front of the 3-back.
Yeah, and then you're
And
cooked.
it's pretty easy when you go 2v1 to that player.
Yeah, just look at the last goal. I know we committed so many others up the pitch, but there was no midfield at all.
No, and
Bypassed.
I think, change is needed. I think we look at change in the past, like, for example, maybe Ole got the sack and we're like, oh, Eric Ten Hag's coming in eventually and all this type of stuff. And we go, there's a bit of this element of excitement.
Yeah.
I just don't know if there is that anymore. It's like, you look at it now and you go, your first thought is this is just going to be the exact same cycle that's happened for the last 15 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's corroded officially, like gone. Like
Yeah.
there is maybe a way back, but I can't see it until something changes, unfortunately. Let me get to some of our winners.
Sure.
I'll start with Mikel Arteta because, if we're going to criticise the man, we have to, give him his flowers as well. They absolutely bossed Newcastle. I watched that mini match back. They had him penned in for most of the second half. Obviously, some controversial points there. The handball, the penalty, the guy.
It was handball though,
But it comes off his leg. I think both calls, the Gyökeres no pen and the Gabriel no handball, I agree with both.
I just think that his hands though, not in a natural position.
It's unnatural, but it doesn't hit his unnatural hand if it doesn't hit his leg first. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if is that the rule though? I can't tell you because I don't know the rule.
I thought I read that somewhere. Maybe someone made it up, but okay. If your arm's out there, so it crosses the ball in, but it hits your chest and hits your arm, that can't be handball.
That's just because they've hit your chest first. Like, I don't know if that's relevant.
Yeah, but this is the same thing here. It's hit his leg first when he had to block the ball, and then he come off his leg off onto his arm.
Okay, so let's argue here.
Let's argue.
So there's a cross in, you're on the goal line.
On the goal line, yeah.
You're like next to the post.
Yeah.
And there's a header.
Yeah.
It's hit your chest
Yeah.
and your hand's in the top corner and it's come off your arm. And you telling me right now that's not a penalty?
You probably get sent off for that, to be honest. Yeah.
Wait, mate.
Yeah.
And it's come off your chest or it's come off your head first.
Already. I know. It's just the situation. I actually, normally I'm critical on the refs, but I think got both not spot on, but for me, I'm happy with the decisions.
I just don't know, like, if you're right about the rule, sure. I can't see that rule being true.
A legitimate rule.
Or because based on the fact that if they're on the goal line and that happens, that's handball.
Yeah. And you definitely get sent off.
Yeah.
You're 100% gone. Suarez. But look, outside of that, the controversy, there's always going to be a controversy. Newcastle Arsenal seem to be this game that just pops off for no reason. But look, Arsenal have gone there in recent years. They've lost 4 out of 5 games there. I didn't give it much of a sniff. I had a 1-1 draw. But the way they came out, they played progressive. Erdegaard was actually playing well. We actually looked to try and get the ball in behind. Eze was fabulous. Could have scored a hat-trick if it wasn't for Nick Pope in goal. I think their persistence and like the mentality finally looked on. It finally looked like they were locked in for this game here. Last week they got criticised for celebrating an equaliser. This week the equaliser went in, they were straight back to centre circle. Then they get the winner later on. So they're getting there, they're learning. I was just happy to see Arsenal play some actually entertaining attacking football.
Yeah, they haven't all season. So
they haven't versus the big side ever, it feels like. But finally, against the big side, they went and attacked them, they took it to them, and they got the result.
Yep.
So I think that's a massive win for Mikel Arteta, and I guess for Erdegaard as well. He really shone for me there as well. A winner for yourself?
Chiesa, for a few reasons. Firstly, like, I think he's now got a bit of the trust of the manager because, like, his first season he's come in, he looked like an absolute, like, sure they didn't spend much money on him, but an absolute, like, flop. But he's come in, he's now scoring a few goals. He's now being that decisive player that you can bring on with 25 minutes to go. No, he's going to impact.
Yep.
He's been added to the Champions League squad, which he initially wasn't in.
Yep.
And I think it's like back on track because after that ACL, it seemed like he was never coming back from it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's good, especially like, unfortunately, with the Jota news for like Liverpool themselves to have, I'd say borderline, some sort of an identical
It feels like
player
it right now. Yeah.
to come in. And I can see him eventually like starting a few games soon, impacting in that way.
Yeah.
So I think that will be really positive.
It's one of the great five. It sounds bad, but out of any of all that bad news, he seems to be the one who's like, promoted himself from it and benefited from it and taking his chance.
Well,
chance
probably if Jota's still around,
he's
sold. Sold or loaned or something.
Yeah, but you got to play what's in front of you, and he's taking his opportunity.
Definitely.
You're right. He had 2 assists in the Carabao, scored that goal versus Bournemouth, and scored that on the weekend. And look, it felt like Liverpool were going to go win it after he scored that goal.
Yeah,
It felt like the same thing, but yeah, I like that. That's a good winner. The Italian stallion. My second winner, Reggie Labrie, the Sunderland manager. Like, this is another manager. Again, good managers make winning teams. Sunderland, yes, they're not going to score a lot of goals, but they've only conceded 4 this season in the Premier League. Like, that is a clear mentality. That is a clear, setup and structure from the team. And yes, they rode their luck there versus Forest on the weekend. Keeper again was superb for them, making 6 saves again. But you got to set your team up to try and win games and get results. And you said it before, like with the whole Sean Dyche and defensive, identity thing. He has sort of got the great balance there between when they need to defend, they will defend, but when they go forward, they look like an attacking, exciting side going forward. I think the best feather in his cap right now as a manager, he has got 11 players that I don't think have ever played together, put in the team this season, and they're playing like the most cohesive unit there. They're more cohesive than a lot of teams in the Premier League, and that's all credit to the manager, I think.
Well, yeah, that was my winner as well. I didn't have the manager, but I had Sunderland as a whole. And wow. I think it's just... I think we just wrote them off purely based on the fact that we've seen the last 2 years now, the 6 sides up, 6 sides down, and it's, been quite hard for us to go otherwise, but with such a strong start, it just brings all this confidence within the playing group as well. Like, I feel like with those teams, if they don't start well, they're never coming out of the hole because you start to get belted, you start to feel small, your home ground starts to feel like there's nothing going on there.
Yeah.
And that's the complete opposite for Sunderland. Like, you could see Sunderland finishing, like we were saying before, quite high, just purely based on them getting a bit of confidence now. They're probably another 3 wins from, you'd already say them being safe.
And they've got form at home, unbeaten at home.
Yep.
Their first away win. Like, it just feels like when you watch them, they're just hard to score, hard to beat. And that, at the end of the day, that's your job coming up.
That's the tactic.
That's your job.
And you can work it out from there. And they've made those big signings. They've brought in Granit Xhaka, an experienced head.
Yeah.
And they've made other signings. But you've made all these signings, like you said. You've got 11 players on the pitch. There's a bit of cohesiveness.
Yeah.
Put it together. Yeah, sure, it's worked. But they just need to stay up this year. And they're doing more, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, as I said at the start of the year, they took the Forest mould. Look, Forest struggled when they took that mould because they couldn't put all the players together. Though. They still stayed up. But this is that's what I'm saying. That's, for me, why the manager's the winner, because how you can get all these new players, like this, there's probably 18 signings in this squad, and you've got them to work and find a position for each and every one of them to play good football. That's very, very impressive.
I wonder if he's just tactically thought about this and looked. I wonder if the previous 6 teams going down has actually helped him in this situation. I wonder if he's looked at it in the sense that it's okay, we've got these new players for the start of the season. We can work it out from there. Let's have a strong defense, and from there have a bit of creativeness once we're in that final third, and just really simple. We're happy to play, but when we don't have the ball, we're all back. None of this crap that's going on that we've seen with Burnley in the past.
Play out in the back.
We just need to play simple football, and we can start to progress as time goes on. Whether that be if we get into a good enough position, maybe this season, or maybe it has to be next season. It doesn't matter. But like you need to stay up
Stay
in the end
in,
of the
yeah.
day because it's such a financial burden as well to go straight back down.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these players, all of them pretty much leave, and if they don't leave, they're on ridiculous money. Although they have that cut is still ridiculous for the viewership that you're getting in the championship.
Yeah, yeah. It's the parachute payments work if you don't have a lot of big time players. They've got like Champions League level players.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got Mukiele, they've got Gertrude, they've got Xhaka, they've got Adingra, they've got Enzo. They've got like serious players. So you sort of have to stay up. There's no because if they go down with this squad, it's like Leeds back in the early 2000s when they had all those players went down. They went like bankrupt almost. You got to make sure you're keeping the top flight. So yeah, big winner, club and coach. And then my last winner was Paulinho, just for the sheer importance of that goal. Spurs lose that game, crisis talks happen again. Like, no, Wolves had their number. I know I was talking to Charlie, he's a big Spurs fan. He said, I expected a draw, which is quite unfortunate for Spurs fans, but they started that season off on fire. They were going very, very well. So the last few weeks. If they had lost that game, big questions asked at that squad, the mentality, the winning ability of that side. But look, scrapes a draw, 4th minute of stoppage time, good goal. I just think, all in all, he's been a great signing. He's the winner just because he's kept his side in that game there, and also he's been a good get for them this season. Man City away, that game, every game he started, he's been very, very good. He's got a 27 million euro buyout in the loan, so I think Spurs would be stupid not to take that back. All right, to the losers. You mentioned obviously Amorim. Makes sense. Probably lose his job by the time this one goes out. It sort of feels like.
Yeah. Not much more to add there.
Is there anything else you can really add to that other than that?
I think the only thing you can add is if he is still coaching next week, I still don't see a world where he keeps his job. I think he's so far in the ditch that, like, unless he went on some well-win, unbeaten run, which you don't even see is possible at this point in time, I don't see how. Yeah, I was big on, like, give the guy time, but you can't win 9 games in the last 31 or whatever it was. It's
more losses than wins, I think he's got. That's just not...
A lot more, I'm pretty sure.
Is that a long way?
Yeah.
Maybe it's Premier League stat then. I was saying, by the weekend, something changed for less than 50%, so it's not good at all.
I think they're like a 32% win rate, which is...
Ole needs to be at the back of the wheel for this. It's like...
Yeah, you kind of... Everyone was anti-Ole, but you know what? The football wasn't even that bad either.
Not as bad as this. This is like this is weird because they play some decent patches, but my God, the bad stuff is bad.
It's just so weird though. That Arsenal game, we dominated Arsenal.
Yeah, you came. Yeah, you were here about. Yeah, we were here. Yeah. One, we sat here and talked about it. We're like, good start of the year, good performance, unlucky, and in that game the defense was good. It was the going forward that needed a little bit of polishing. Now, jeez.
Yeah.
That first goal really sums up how United are really going. Trying to play a high line, but then not, like they're like up, but they're not on the halfway line. They're sort of like a couple of feet back for the halfway line. Where are you? Are you high or are you deep?
Yeah.
It's just, that's confusion. That's problems. I've obviously had Amorim as well. I had it here. Where do you go? 14th, 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. Had 56% possession, but conceded 6 big chances. That's just shit. That's just average. Another loser was obviously Liverpool. Underwhelming again. They could have been down, I thought, 3-0 at half time. They hit the post, Mateta hit the post. Munoz and Sarr, I think, had massive saves from Alisson. Alisson was man of the match until half time. He kept them in the game. They conceded 2.92 XG. So I guess everyone's worries have been warranted this season because they look so vulnerable at the back. Kanate's having a stinker right now. Wirtz is being poor. McAllister's look off it. And they finally dropped a game. So look, it was all fun and games until they finally had that loss. Now they've had that loss. It's like the reality check. This week, Champions League and League game, we need to see them bounce back.
Well, yeah, like Florian Wirtz being what so far. And he was the one as well that I was like, amazing signing.
Yeah,
like, that guy's a superstar. He ain't flopping. Like, there's other ones that have come, like, for example, Ekitike, I was like, that's questionable.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's scored like 15 career goals before he's come to Liverpool. He had one good season. He's not the best finisher. He's shown to be quite good. But Wirtz is like, he's performed on the international stage. He's dominated for Leverkusen. Like
24 months he's owned the Bundesliga.
So he's the one, like, and I wonder if it's, maybe the way Liverpool are playing. Like, probably previously, he probably was playing a little bit more in that attacking, whereas he's dropping back a little bit, I'd say.
Too many attacking options, maybe. Maybe too many attackers up there.
Well, that might be the thing. When you got Salah, and they're probably going to try to play Salah, Ekatike, and Isaac all in the one team.
It's going to be tough.
Well, I just don't know what you do. Like, is Ekatike your number 9 now because of how he's been playing?
That's the thing about the red card, man. It's sort of helped Isaac get his spot, but then he didn't score on the weekend.
Do anything. Yeah, so I'm sure that Ekatike, and they've got 2 games a week, so I'm sure they'll split it a bit.
Rotate. But how, that's not good for continuity, man.
Isaac's he's 120 million signing, so he's gonna be told he's starting. But then Ekatike has been scoring, so it's like, how do you not start him?
And I think they look better with Ekatike than they do with Isaac. That's just my... I think they look like a more flowing team. They look more connected. Like, Ekatike and Wirtz have actually a good combination. Like, Wirtz at times, when he looks his best, is with Ekatike little 1-2s. And that's the thing. Florian Wirtz has always been a player that's played next to a striker, like a second striker.
Yeah, that's the thing.
A shadow striker. Like Dybala back in the day for Juve at his peak. It was a proper shadow striker next to Schick or next to Boniface. So it's a lot for Liverpool to adjust to. Arne Slot is a great manager. He'll find a way, I know, but the weekend just panned out so poorly for them. Like, not play well. Could have scraped a draw. Like I said with the Chiesa, it looked like they might even go win it. Then they end up losing it, and then Arsenal win with a late winner the next day. It's like a double boy for them.
Yeah.
And now the gap's 2 points. And last week I was saying, Liverpool could run away with it because they could be 9 points or 8 points clear by this weekend if they'd won and Arsenal had lost. But all of a sudden now it's 2. So the tide swung back in Arsenal's favour. And this is the title race. I thought this side, they can definitely come back. But if they had a lead going into match day 15, I'd be like, it's over already.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come good eventually. But if you start... Now the mentality just gets a little bit worried because you've lost a game there, haven't played well all season.
I think they did this last year though. Like, they weren't performing that well, and then they dropped a game, and we were like, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
And then they just went on. Yeah. So I wouldn't be too worried. They got a way better squad. They've got too much quality there to not being a.
I think the big one, the underrated one, is McAllister. He needs to get back to his best. I know he was injured in pre-season, but I look to him to try and fix it up for them in midfield. So I'm going to look at my last loser, Chelsea. 3 games in a row without a win in the Premier League. Back-to-back red cards.
Maresca's another one.
I had him last week. This week I've done the whole team, but last week I had Maresca. But, man, that red card as well. Like, Andre Santos gets the ball, plays a shitty back pass. Like, awful. And Chalobah has to foul. He has no other option to foul. So last week is Rob Sanchez having a howler coming out and fouling in Bumo. This week it's Andre Santos selling his teammate short. It once again feels like this is the Chelsea team of 2.5 years ago. There's no leader out there. It just feels like a bunch of really, really good players that are sort of together, but no one that, like... I know Reece James has the armband. He's a good player and all. Doesn't give off Virgil van Dijk.
No.
Like, leader at the back, or like a Gabriel type who just, like, commands the team. This team... Like, Enzo at times does have that feeling as well, but it just, once again, especially the last few weeks, feels like a team that's just has no leadership. And that comes down to the manager as well. He's made some so-so decisions, I think, in the last few weeks. And no Cole Palmer there as well. You've got all these players, spend all this money, and you don't have a backup for Cole Palmer. Are you kidding? Like, that can't be an excuse.
Exactly, yeah.
Cole Palmer's injured. You spent billions of dollars. You have to be ready to go and go and go. And I think 3 games without a win, the Premier League, I don't like that at all. Back-to-back losses.
Well, yeah, he'd definitely be in the firing squad, I'd say, because... He's gone and had a good year last year. They've gone and spent more money. And it's like, what's the excuse now?
Mm-hmm.
So...
This year had to be, I thought, at worst 4th, but competing with the big 3 all the way. And look, Man City started poorly. Liverpool haven't played well. I know they've won games well, but they haven't played that well. Arsenal dropped points already as well. And Chelsea is still already back from them.
Yep.
There's going to be questions asked of Maresca in this side here. I think if they don't react this week, Champions League and League, again, another team has 2 games this week. He's another one that could be on the firing line. All right, just last 2 segments. MVP's last, but overrated players, 10 overrated players in the Premier League. We did underrated last week with...
I haven't done an order.
No, I haven't done an order, just 10 players.
Okay.
How did I do it last week? I can't remember who came on last week. We did underrated. This week, though, we're going Overrated.
Sure, okay.
We're getting the gun out. We're putting guns to heads here. Do you want to get started with your first overrated player?
Just do one each.
One each, we're 1 for 1, yeah.
Sesko.
I agree. What's your reason, though? I want to hear your reason behind it.
My pure reason is that I don't think that Højlund is any worse than Sesko. That's just my pure reason. And I think we've gone and got rid of Højlund, gone and spent 95 million, spent 75 previously on Højlund, which probably now with inflation of the 2 years is 95.
Yeah.
Or there or abouts.
Yeah.
And he's a good player, but he's not 95 million. He's not the saviour up top. He's not there yet. Sure, he might be good in 5 years' time, in 3 years' time. But to go spend, that sort of money when you had a young, upcoming striker there who probably had proven, not last year, but the year before, he was pretty good. He had one off season as a 21-year-old. We've seen in the past, people like Zlatan and Suarez weren't that great of players at 21.
Yeah, they had their moment of breaking through. And I think for Højlund as well, he wanted to compete for his spot, which says a lot as well. At United right now, he doesn't let many people want to compete, but he was happy to stay and fight for his spot.
Exactly, and
that's something you don't buy.
The thing is, as well, and we've always said with Højlund, in that first year, I think he scored 16 or 17 goals, but had no service.
Yeah.
Last year, the service was abysmal, to say the least. So, and we're seeing it with Sesko now, and there's probably an element of how he's playing to the service, but I didn't expect when Sesko came in for him to perform at any better of a level than Højlund.
No. And I'll build on that with the fact that I think I said this the whole way through, and I hope I've been quoted every single time I said this. I've never rated Benjamin Sesko as a striker. I always saw him as a Leipzig-level player that's a play with the partner. I always said Openda and Sesko, they come as a combination. And I was worried Sesko alone, like you're saying, with no service, but alone down in the middle, that's just the recipe for disaster. He's a great hold-up player, great athlete, good, cool. That doesn't work as a solid number 9. You have to be with a partner. Bruno would be great as a 10 that can work off him, but we don't have that. You've got 2 wide, sort of 10. It doesn't work. You need... Sesko is a striker that plays alongside another striker.
I think that's where, if a new manager comes in, someone like a Brian Mbeumo, who really, I wouldn't even say is a 10, is more of, again, a false 9,
second striker.
Second striker where he's really played his best.
Yep.
That could be something that works a lot better.
4-4-2, mate. Just whack. Obviously not exactly that with no depth, but when you go to attack, you attack as a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
You got to give it a go because, like you said, Sesko's money in itself is overrating him. But also, I think this preconception that, he'll be United's saviour or he's going to score. He's a good striker. He's not clinical. He's not never misses. You watch the Bundesliga, he misses a shit ton of chances, but he scores some very nice-looking goals. He's a highlights player at best. But coming to United for 95 or 85 or something.
Yeah, he wasn't going to be the solution. And, mate, sure. I think he also works better where we do get a lot more crosses in the box. There are those wide plays, those tricky wingers that then can give him more one-on-ones and stuff. What we find is anytime the ball's coming in the box, it's a wing back, which the other team have their players basically set up to defend any of those situations. So
again, it's not his fault.
No.
He didn't make the fee, but United again just killing it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you there. Your next one?
Victor Gyökeres.
Oh, I didn't have him, but you know what? That's a good shout.
It's early. It's early days, and he scored that brace, but I think he hasn't been that great. And I'm just skeptical on a player that's 25, 26 before he does anything, and anything he does is in not even a top 5 league.
Yeah.
And sure, he was scoring goals for fun, clinical, everything, but he's scoring them for the most borderline. There's only 2-3 teams running around Portugal.
3 teams in Portugal, yeah.
He's scoring them against a little bit of nobodies. And yes, he did in the Champions League, but I'm still not convinced that Man City game that Pep wasn't playing 4D chess.
It's a long game.
Yeah.
He saw in advance. Yeah.
So
doesn't look in shape either. He looks like overweight a bit as well.
I just don't think he's a very skillful player.
No.
I think he's really like jump in behind or just a tap in. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think that suits necessarily Arsenal.
No, I
think Arsenal's like, 1-2 finish.
Yeah.
And like, you might have a pocket this big, but we need you to finish type.
Yeah. He's the white Lukaku sort of, and that's no.
I reckon that's exactly what he is.
And that's no slander to Lukaku, because I think he's a great player. You see for Napoli, he's killing it, and in Serie A, he kills it, and did well for Chelsea initially when he signed for Chelsea that second time around. But I think, Gyökeres are made out to be this everything striker. I think he's just he's a poacher.
Yeah.
He's a finisher. And like you said, Arsenal need to add that part to their game to make him a better player. So I didn't have that yet, but I agree with you. I'll stay with Arsenal. The Odegaard hate watch continues. I still reckon he's overrated. This guy's made out to be like...
I've got him as well.
Yeah, as good as Bruno, or better than Bruno, or better than KDB, or as good as KDB. Like, it's ridiculous. He's a very good player, but a safe player. And number 10s are not supposed to be safe. They're supposed to be exuberant.
His best year was 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it might have even been 4 now, but he's done nothing ever since. I remember like 3 years ago, right at the start when the podcast, Flynn was going, oh yeah, I'm expecting him to like top goal scorer without Haaland. I think it was in Haaland's first year or something.
Yeah, it was
like
that. Like betting market that was
He was like, he scored 14 last year. He's gonna kick on. He gets in these positions. Gets in position to score 4 goals.
Well, that's the thing. He gets in positions. That's the thing. He doesn't shoot. He passes sideways. That's why I think he's so overrated. All these metrics. He looks like such a tidy player. He's tidy because he passes sideways 24/7, backwards and sideways. You're the captain of Arsenal.
And you're a 10.
You're a 10. You're supposed to be the captain of the 3rd or 4th best team in the world. Not even in the world. People rate them that highly.
And he's done a little bit of Arteta. But if that's what Arteta wants to do, Arteta can literally go get sacked now because he's ruining football doing that shit. And number 10 needs to be this skillful, intricate...
But the thing is, I just saw it on the Sunday night game. He played this great ball in behind for that Miles Lewis-Skelly shot that got blocked. I was like, where the fuck's this been the whole time? It took you to get dropped for Eze, who I think should start over Odegaard, to realise, oh shit, let me actually play some good football. And he comes off the bench, plays 2 fabulous passes in behind, defence-winning balls. I'm like, well, where's this been for 3 seasons? It's just like, I hope, like you're saying, Arteta isn't doing this like Pep did to Grealish. Let the player play. Because if he did that yesterday off the bench, I'm wondering, well, is he just too scared to give those passes a go? But yeah, I think he's so overrated.
Could be a thing of they're like in a behind position.
Yeah.
So it's like now you're allowed to play.
Yeah. I just think if we waited that long and he did that so quickly, a lot of questions. So them as well.
Yeah, so
I'll go another one again. I'm going to go Dominic Solanke at Spurs. It's a bit harsh, doesn't play this season, been injured. But look, big raps on him. I think it was a 20-plus goal season the year before. Then joined Tottenham last year. Scored a decent, I think it was 14 goals, but has never really looked the same player since he left Bournemouth.
No.
And I think this season, Richarlison looks like he got the starting spot now that he's out injured. He comes back, he has to come from the bench.
Yeah.
And that says a lot. They paid 60-odd million for this guy. English name, wants to be a part of the World Cup squad. I think the raps around him have just... he hasn't gone the right way. It's sort of like a disappointing as well as an overrated type
Well, it's
thing.
a little bit like you go to United, you go to Tottenham, and your career's going only one way.
It's gone south. I feel... I like him as well. I really like him as the player. I don't know where that player's gone. At Bournemouth, he'd drop in, spin behind, score a great solo goal, work with Semenyo, work with his what. And at Spurs, it's like a couple tap-ins, a couple flicks to play to the ball. But it's not that same Solanke, drop in, spin, half turn, rotate, go. He just feels off. So
it might take him some time. He did take him time at Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, 100%. But for the money,
sure,
you sort of have to get going. So yeah, I have Solanke. You feel a bit hard. I like the player, but yeah, I think a little bit overrated.
I've got Phil Foden.
Whoa, you're going with the big one. I like it. The big fish.
Probably hurting me in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But like based off, I feel like this hype of Phil Foden is that he's supposed to be like that, not to the degree of, but like that next Messi type player, especially as of like 2 years ago.
Stockport Messi, they said. That's what they said.
Yeah, like he was a Ballon d'Or caliber player. We're talking about 2 seasons ago, and now it's like no one's saying anything about Phil Foden.
Yeah,
but he's wouldn't be a top 200 player.
He was in the Ballon d'Or nomination. That was top 50 or whatever it was. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Look, I also feel sorry for Phil Foden in a way because he's just been forced this mantle because of, the local lad, Manchester.
But has he? He was like, he won Premier League Player of the Year 2 years ago.
You're not wrong. Last year was bad. But look, we've seen signs already. And that doesn't mean your point's wrong. It's totally correct. But
As of right now.
yeah, 5 or 6 weeks into the season, we're starting to see signs of it. But still, the last 2 games he's played, last 4 games, last 2, 2 before that, fabulous.
Yeah.
We don't want to see that. Like, that's up last year, right? He had in the season, he's had 6 games where he was unbelievable. The other 32 were rubbish. But those 6 games, he sort of hat-trick in one. His goal and assist looked okay. I want to see, like you said, player of the season photo where every single game is on it.
He had plus 30 goal contributions, I reckon, that season.
Yeah. He almost scored in, over Christmas, he scored every single game, I'm pretty sure. In December, he scored scored or assist in every single December game. That's mental.
Yeah.
Because him and Rashford are going bar for bar. They're going
I remember
goal
that.
and assist. And it was like, whoa, the Manchester lads are going back of I agree though, he hasn't quite been that. Is that Pep? Is this an Odegaard thing? Is that Pep? Or is that just
I don't think so. I don't think Pep's going to put him down when he just won player of the
So it's the player that's the...
Yeah. I think he might tell his wide players, but Foden's been playing more of the 10.
Especially in the last sort of 12 months,
Yeah.
Since De Bruyne has faded away. I'll stay at City. I went Rico Lewis. This is a consistent name I keep going on about. People keep thinking he's England's next up-and-coming right back. The future's there. I think he's just shit, to be honest with you. I said it on the main pod. I've said it on here. I've said it on a few different other short reaction videos and stuff I do. And I might have to stop this now because I think people are starting to realise that he isn't that great at all. But he was also raved at City as the next, next big thing, the next young superstar.
Well, they're playing him. They were trying to. We can play him in midfield as well.
Yeah, and look, he's probably actually better playing midfield because I think his defensive capabilities are so poor.
Yeah,
I think he's one of those right backs that's more of a right winger type of thing.
Yeah.
But look, I think he might have to change his name off this list in a few weeks' time because I think people are realising he's not that great. So I have Rico Lewis in there as overrated. Your 5th player.
Hard one because I actually think he's been okay as of the last 6 months. But Enzo Fernandez.
See, I had him in, but I axed him because I liked what he's done recently.
Yeah, recently he's been okay, but my only problem is, and it's how can you have Caicedo and Enzo in that midfield?
And not
Probably with Cole Palmer for a lot of it,
Yeah.
and that not be
top 3.
Yeah, for the caliber of players that of expectation of Caicedo, Enzo, and Cole Palmer. That should borderline be the best midfield in the Premier League.
It's about a £300 million
And it
midfield
isn't.
as well.
And when I look at that 3, I was like, okay.
Who's the weakest?
I feel like Caicedo's not been too bad.
He was in player of the season shouts last year at some point.
Yeah. I feel like, you're not going to say Cole Palmer.
Yeah, obviously.
So I was like, it has to be. Enzo has to be. And I was looking and I was going, Enzo has been all right. But I feel like he's a very patch player. He'll have a 10 out of 10 game, but then do nothing for 15 weeks.
Yeah, I agree with it. Last year, it was less of that big gap. But like you said, it'd be 4 weeks of unbelievable football. I remember when he divorced his wife and he was on an unbelievable run and he just stopped. And then I think the Club World Cup was better because he got more involved in different spots. But yes, hot and cold player. And he's so important to Chelsea. When he plays good, they look like $1 million. But when he's slightly off, like you said, has those 2 or 3 weeks where he's off or makes a red card or a silly yellow or gives away fouls.
Yeah.
That's when, they hurt. I like that. It's a good one. Another Man City player, Ruben Diaz. Another player I think I've said a few times. I don't really rate him that much. I think he's put on this really, really high pedestal. And fair enough, he had that unbelievable season now, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, long time ago.
But when people were comparing him to Van Dijk, and I feel like every conversation I get pelters for saying Van Dijk was clear of him. I think we're finally realising that he is well and truly clear of Ruben Diaz.
Yeah.
Look, and again, in recent, let's say the last 18 months, Ruben Diaz has had patches where he's looked great again. But I think when you look at that Man City backline, I'd say Gvardiol and Stones are more important than Ruben Diaz in that backline. And Ruben Diaz is supposed to be the number 1 guy, especially the skipper at times and lead that side. So I think too many mistakes in his game, not quite that perfection on the ball that he used to be. And I start to think he's just seen as overrated these days. He hasn't got that elite level ball playing and mistake-free game that he used to have 4 or 5 years ago. I've got him in.
I've got Calvert-Lewin.
Can you count Calvert-Lewin though? Can you count him?
Well, my whole basis behind this is I feel like we think that Calvert-Lewin every time he's at Essendon, when he's fit, he's gonna save Essendon. He's gonna save Everton. He's gonna go to Leeds and he's gonna help them stay up. Like there's this whole thing, and like bloke hasn't really done anything since Richarlison was back at Everton. That's how long ago it was.
That's the thing. It's hard to judge him though because he doesn't play. But I think he's not that good either, to be honest. Like, is he rated? Is he rated enough to call him overrated?
Well, I would say maybe not so much in the last year, but I would say before that it's like, Everton's gonna stay up. We just need
Calvert-Lewin to be fit.
Yeah,
for 8 games.
And I'm like, what has he done recently? Like, even when Everton did stay up,
yeah, he wasn't
the
important.
last 2 seasons, he was not at all any part to play in that.
No, it was more the back line, Tarkowski, and Pickford.
Decore at times.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it because I know what you mean. Out of the last 3 years, maybe 2 of the years, there was like, DCL's back will be fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's the last 18 months, so I don't know. Yeah, it's a funny one.
Maybe people have jumped off it, but he was definitely overrated for a period of time.
I get that. I'm going to go someone that, I'm probably similar to Dominic Calvert-Lewin here. I've gone Max Kilman. He came for big money, 40 million to West Ham. Last year was just shit. So I don't know if anyone even rates him anymore. But look, if we were doing this list 6 months ago, it'd be a slam dunk Max Kilman. Because when he came from Wolves, he was like unbelievable. Their captain. I think early on in the pod, we used to talk about him being like one of those like breakthrough players, young English centre-back. But since moving to West Ham, what has that brother done? He's been... Maybe it's a symbol of West Ham's...
Well, when we thought he went, and there was a few other signings, because I remember they had... 18 months ago, they had Mavropanos.
Yeah.
And Zuma.
And now they had Todibo.
And they finished 7th or something that year as well.
David Moyes.
Yeah, and then they sacked Moyes, but brought in all these amazing players. And I remember that was last year when I said... They're going to finish 5th.
I had them 7th, And I think that still hurts me, the pain that Kilburn never performed, but maybe it's just the manager's not working for him. But I have him still in there.
Sure.
Your number 7?
Garnacho.
Yeah, actually, this is a good one, actually. I didn't have him.
And yes, when you go look at stats, like, everyone says, like, at the same age, like, Ronaldo was of similar stats and stuff, but Ronaldo had a different impact in a team as well, team. I'm saying Ronaldo like had a different impact in a team that was a winning team.
Yeah. That
also, he was providing a lot of assists and actually freeing up other players. So like, but I don't know. I don't know if there's that element now that he's left United and he's cocky, like that cockiness that I'm a big believer that you need to be cocky, but I believe you have to earn to be cocky.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, it's a hard one, but I just don't think he's done that much in his career. He started off quite well, not last season, the year before he had a decent season. But again, he wasn't that great. And yes, he's a young player, but...
I always rate him. I think I always rate him pretty highly. But what we saw last year, and already at Chelsea, getting dragged against Lincoln, like, it's not sort of lining up right now as that... superstar.
There's a player there, but he's definitely overrated at this current moment.
100%. No, 100%. I agree with you 100% because you have to be rated to be overrated. He's probably the perfect example of that because I rate him, and what I'm seeing now is probably too small for what I actually thought of him. So I thought of him as the next big thing. I feel like the slam dunk of the Premier League players, Emi Martinez. Like this brother's won back-to-back. He lost it this year to Donnarumma, but he won back-to-back Yashin trophies. And he was living off the one save against Colin Moani for in that World Cup. And it's been memed, but it's honestly true. He's a good keeper. I'm not saying he's not a good keeper, but he's held up as number 1, number 2 in the world. Man, Alisson, Donnarumma, I'd even say it's Fila for Roma. Who else am I missing here? Courtois.
Yeah.
All better keepers.
I think he's a good shot stopper though, and I think that sometimes...
Yeah, no, he's a good shot stopper, but those players I've listed, none of them are good at their feet. Or maybe Alisson's good with his feet, but Courtois is not, Fila's not, Donnarumma's not.
Yeah, probably to put him like 1 or 2, but he's a top 10 goalie.
He's not 10 keeper, but he's held up in like there's a top 5, top 2 in the world, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think he's just so overrated, man.
But he's out of recent, like for a 2-3 year patch, he was probably like when you think about Donnarumma was like a little bit off for a bit.
But when they said Donnarumma was off, he's at PSG. He's still doing good work. He was at PSG though.
Yeah,
no
I
watched
don't.
him. You don't appreciate.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
you know what I
know.
mean?
There was a few times where he was making a few mistakes, Donnarumma, like at the start
Italy,
of PS.
though.
Yeah, okay, for Italy, but sure. But we're talking about for Italy in 2021.
I just feel like he's been the guy, Donnarumma. I feel like I even feel like I've been too hard on Donnarumma. I think he's been very, very good over a longer period than we think.
He has, but I don't know if he was a top 3, top 5 keeper for a couple of years.
If I could be top 5 though, I think he'd be top 5 because you got Mike Magnon in there. You got Courtois, Alisson, Sommer maybe in there. Who else? Neuer. Oh, so maybe he's just out of. But
De Gea for a period there.
I'm saying, has Emma Martinez ever been better than these keepers ever?
But you have to remember it's a single season.
True,
I don't know if you asked anybody though. Although he did win the Ashen, if you asked anybody, do you think that their response would have been that Emi Martinez was a top 2 keeper?
No.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So is he overrated then?
But the accolades say he is.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
in that way, yes.
I got
yes,
off that.
yeah,
I got off
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Anyway,
No, that's fair.
That's what I've gone with. He's my 7th guy.
Casemiro. And he's old, so it's hard
It's
because
hard. It's one of the aging ones.
it's an aging one as he just lost the legs, but it also makes you just question how important Modric, Kroos,
Yeah.
Pepe, Ramos,
Was that set aside?
to add them all like in Carvajal around him, Marcelo,
Yeah.
people in front of him as well, because I think people actually tend to forget in that treble winning side, they conceded a lot of goals, Real Madrid.
Wolfsburg game, and they went down like 3-0 or something. Ronaldo had to bail them out.
Not even just in the Champions League, in the league as well.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of games you would see 5-2,
Yeah.
4-2,
Yeah.
4-3,
Yeah.
3-1. Like, they weren't necessarily this defensive powerhouse. And I think Casemiro has always been known by that. And I'm not saying he hasn't. Casemiro is an amazing player, but has he been a little bit shown up in the Premier League, or has he just lost his legs? That's the question you ask.
Could be a bit of both. Could be a combo.
The only flaw I have is when he was probably at his youngest in the Prem, which was that first season. He was exceptional.
Yeah. Systems as well. Ten Hag system might have just worked for him. I got mini Casemiro. I got Baleba as overrated. I think he's so overrated. I'll stand on this hill. And when United went in for him, I'm like, Adam Wharton's just a better version of him playing at Crystal Palace. That's why I really want Oliver Glasner at United. I think he'll get Wharton across. So I think when you look at young midfielders in the league right now, Adam Wharton is head and shoulders clear of Carlos Baleba. He doesn't even start every single game for Brighton, by the way.
Yeah.
And I keep saying this. This is my number one sentence probably said on this channel. Yassin Ayari, I think, is a better player in that system at Brighton than Carlos Baleba is. Maybe it might not be he's a better player than him, but in the Brighton system, I like Yassin Ayari more than I like Carlos Baleba. So I think the money that was thrown around from 100 million, and apparently Liverpool in for him now for a similar value, ridiculous. Here's £100 million. I know the market right now is cooked. It's a joke. But 100 million for this kid, not sure. So I've got him as overrated right now. Last two.
One, probably both that are a bit controversial, but this one I've been a big believer of. Bukayo Saka.
Wow, you've gone like that. You've gone bang.
Yeah.
Bukayo. Kept that in your back pocket, didn't you? Jeez.
Yeah.
Why?
I just don't think he's just not Salah. That is, you can't sit here, and this is a lot of Arsenal supporters, but like, I've actually heard he's better than Salah in the last year, or maybe not the last year, but the year before. I heard he's better than Salah. I heard he's as important. I've heard he's the player we're so dependent on, and that he's going to save Arsenal. And without Saka, you've seen the downturn. And sure, he's a great player, an amazing player, but I've heard, he'll be a top 5 Ballon d'Or. He might even win a Ballon d'Or. Like, calm down. Like, Bukayo Saka is a good player.
Yeah.
A very good player. And he deserves to be praised. But he ain't Salah, and he ain't, like, even a top 5 winger in the world.
No, he's not, is he? Lamine.
Lamine, If I was also, by the way, if I was to do a world overrated, I think the most overrated player in the whole world is Lamine Yamal.
I can follow that. I know what you mean, though. He's the most watchable player, so everyone just says, oh, he's amazing, blah, 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 blah.
Lamine Yamal scored like 7 goals in La Liga last year, and that people were saying he should have won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, okay, that sentence makes him overrated. The only counter to that, and I wanted the Bella to win it. My only counter to that is watch the Inter Milan Barcelona 2 legs.
I did, and he had an amazing 2 games, but that doesn't win you a Ballon d'Or.
No, 100%.
My argument is Rafinha was better in La Liga, and Rafinha was better in Champions League,
and he captained them and played that position,
and he was better in Champions League. So how does Rafinha not finish ahead of?
Don't ask me. Me and Nathan had this debate on last week's pod. Ridiculous, I thought. And Pedri.
Well, that's another one. But, like, in my opinion, Rafinha... Dembele wins it because they won the Champions League, but Rafinha was the best player last year.
In the world, you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Pedri was the best player in that team. That's me.
Just hard sometimes with those midfielders because you need something behind you.
Yeah.
And if, like...
But you reckon Saka is, what? Like, give me
a
rough
top 5?
estimate. Like, is he, like... If you make an all-time, like, out of the world right now, overrated players, is he top 10
No.
overrated players in the world? No.
No.
So
but he's a top 10 Premier League, yeah.
Okay. I see it. I just want to get a gist of where you're sitting there.
He's overrated more so. I don't know if he's necessarily overrated by the common person and the pundit. I think he's just overrated. I think Arsenal supporters are so loud and obnoxious that they make him sound overrated.
I'll give you that. That's fair enough. I haven't gone as bold as you. That's my clip for the week. You got my clip done. That's awesome. I got Gibbs White. Just because it's a little bit harsh. It's a little bit harsh. It's probably more like the start of the season here. He had a good last season, but I like Elliot Anderson more. I like Murilo Milenkovic more. I like Alanga more.
Yep.
I could have had Chris Wood in this list as well, but I think Morgan Gibbs White, for what he's talented to be, hasn't really lived up to the expectation of that. Again, similar to Odegaard, that does everything for you in the number 10. Look, at least he's more attacking and aggressive than Martin Odegaard, but he hasn't quite delivered that final ball, that in behind consistently. Look, everyone hates Bruno if it was like in the world football, but he makes things happen for his football club. I don't think Gibbs White does that enough.
Sure.
He could do it every third or fourth game. The way he's being touted like he's a top 5, 10 in the Premier League. No.
Yeah, I like that one.
I think it's a safe one, but a good one. So that's my...
I thought I was going bold before.
What the fuck you done now then?
Bruno Fernandes.
You know what? I'll give it to you though, because I was going to put him in, but I'm like, he's out of position.
He is out of position, but he was really good last year. But I just think about how everybody was saying, like, he's the best number 10 in the world. And I was just, is there a little bit of overrated to that?
It probably is.
The only thing is the number 10 is a dying breed. So possibly, but...
another thing to your argument, he did it in a really shit team, so it's really easy to look good.
That's what I'm saying. He shines when everyone else was like borderline amputated by the one leg.
It's true though, because when Rashford was cooking and we were cooking as in that year, that Carabao Cup Christmas period, he wasn't like... He was good. He wasn't a standout though.
I don't know. He's just a weird one. Like, I rate Bruno. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but you don't reckon he's number one. You don't reckon he's number one type player, like number 110 in the world. Like, you don't reckon he's that level?
No, and I think like and I also think that he's just a weird player in the sense that I understand why Amorim's played him at the 8 because I just don't think he's a traditional 10 either. Like, he's not a dribbling. He's a guy who likes. That's why he like suited Ole so much because he likes like to counter, but get that ball where he's got a nice striker like a Rashford or a Martial or a Greenwood that he loves a ball in behind, but then he's also can run in as a late player into the box. That's like he's perfect.
Prime Bruno Fernandes is long ball from your own half,
and then he makes late run into the box.
Martial receives it, cuts back, and then Bruno's there. Yeah, and Bruno scores or gets a pen or something like that. Prime COVID, I always hit that goal, that Newcastle goal that he scores, where we do like one-touch football over the park. Yeah. That's Bruno.
That's Bruno to a T. And the thing is, Bruno doesn't suit an attacking game style because he's not really like that intricate.
No.
And he's not also a great dribbler.
No.
But then he also doesn't suit the 8 because you actually have to be accountable, and he's not defensively accountable either.
He'd be a good 10 in a team that's very good. so he can just float everywhere. He can just go wherever he wants. But unfortunately, United are not good and haven't never
I
been
don't even
good.
know about that, though, because like if you think about him like in the City or something, he'd have to be more like they're sitting on the edge of the box, and Bruno's never been
Yeah,
that.
he's not going to be that. Yeah, it's funny. Bruno works in a really bad team, I think, because he can stand out.
Well, yeah, Bruno just works in Jose Mourinho. Like, he can work in a good team or a bad team, but he can just work in counter-attack football.
Counter-attack teams, yeah. Mate, you've thrown the axe. I went safe as hell. I went Destiny, your doggy from Spurs. Probably a bit of a shit one, but based on that remember those first 6 months or like first 6 weeks maybe, where Spurs were flying, everyone's like, he's the best left back in the world, blah, blah, blah. He's never been that great. And I thought it'd be a comeback season. This is why I put him on this list. Because I thought it'd be a comeback year for him. He's lost his spot in the starting 11 to Jed Spence. So I don't know where he refines this spot, and especially for Italy as well. I feel bad for Italy because I thought that was the future for them. You know, bustling up and down left back, can make a really good tackle, speeder going forward, but his crossing's not great. Defensive accountability's not being there.
All right. The Spinazzola's back.
But Spinazzola's back in good form.
Mate.
Yeah, that's what that matters. Napoli are firing, so that's what that matters for Italy. So, but look, I think he's been a little bit overrated and maybe a bit of a cop-out one because he's not been that great. All right, let's finish quickly. MVP vote.
Yep, sure.
I'll quickly rattle off my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Probably shows my ball knowledge with these ones.
My number one vote for the week, Emi Buendia, 1 goal, 1 assist, off the bench at half-time. Worried about Harvey Elliott, got dragged at half-time, by the way. That's their big signing. Wasn't great. Buendia comes on, 1 goal, 1 assist. Massive 3 points for Villa. He gets 1 vote. Danny Welbeck, still cutting about at his old age. 2 goals off the bench for against Chelsea for Brighton. Brighton still need him. It's unbelievable. They still desperately need him. He was massive to gain all 3 points away at Chelsea. 3 votes for Robin Rose, the goalkeeper for Sunderland. 6 saves, 2.16 XG prevented.
Yep.
I know Flynn was here. He'd be frothing all over the XG prevented. Robin Rose gets 3 votes again. Gabriel for me gets 4 votes purely because of the moment. Rises up for the header. Match-winning header.
Sure,
I didn't like the way he flopped for the goal. That's why he didn't get 5 votes for me, because I've done this a lot. I've given the 5 voter to someone who's made a big, impactful play. But the stats here as well, he made 11 clearances and lost 3 duels out of like 17 duels. So he actually was very, very good in that game versus Voltamata. And then 5 votes, unfortunately, is Igor Thiago for Brentford. He absolutely battered United. 2 goals, great action in behind, great physicality, good hold-up play, good finish, both of them. Actually, the finishes were really good from Igor Thiago. So I have him in there as well as the 5 voter.
Okay, so I've got with 1 vote, Nick Pope.
I was close to having him in. I was very close to having him in. Yeah,
I think
like
we
that.
need to give some praise to our goalies.
I just didn't like how he came out and missed that last one.
Did,
that annoyed me. But yeah, I like it. Nick Pope was very good.
Yeah. 2 votes to Aldate.
Yeah, again, that's another good one as
Well,
well.
I think like any defender that keeps a clean sheet and scores,
yeah,
and in a 1-0 win, and for
good goal as well.
what they need for Sunderland deserves some sort of praise. And I think that to me is like more significant than 1 goal, 1 assist.
Yeah, for a forward.
Or even a goal, or like even a Gabriel, where Gabriel to me, he hasn't kept the clean sheet.
True.
I think about it I know it's a weird way to think
Context.
about it, but I think about it of like 2017 FIFA Team of the Week. For Team of the Week, you need to get...
Well, this is what this is. This is basically a small team.
Yeah, FIFA Team of the Week. All the defenders that get it have to score and keep a clean sheet. If there's no clean sheet, they're not getting in the Team of the Week.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
I've gone 3. Another goalkeeper. Yeah, Robin Rose.
Yeah.
I think that explains itself. You touched on it before.
Nuts, yeah.
4, Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, big Danny Welbeck.
Off the bench, so I was a little bit...
But still,
I wasn't, but he's won them the game in the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like
2 late goals.
Yeah. So I think as well in this week, there wasn't necessarily like any like massive performers. Like hat tricks or
Haaland had
midfielders.
2,
but I couldn't put Haaland in because I feel like they were consolation goals.
Yeah, later. I was going to say later and Burnley as well. That's why I didn't put him in.
Well, I think if Haaland scores like the first 2 of the game, I'd probably give him 1.
Yeah.
I think it's the context of when it happened.
It's probably Haaland tax as well. We probably think, it's Haaland as well.
And then
5 votes. So
5 votes, Thiago.
Thiago's well. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I think that's self-explanatory. Like, he was really good against United. And
lunchtime kickoff as well. Normally a game that everyone's a little bit slow. He was at it for minute 1.
Yeah.
And by the way, Brentford again have got another forward. They lost Tony, they lost Visser, they lost Mbumo. Now they got Thiago and Sharda. It's like that club. I wish they could. Whoever's their chief scouting, come to United, man. We need a scout like that. But there we go. Great episode. Good wrap up. We did overrated MVP. Did a few winners and losers, and chatted about United, Palace, and Liverpool. There you go. Thanks for joining me, man. It's been good to have you back on.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks for joining us there at home, guys. Busy week on the channel. We got Champions League predictions coming out tomorrow. Podcast on Wednesday. Premier League predictions on Friday. Massive week to come. There'll be reaction videos in between there as well. So keep tuned to the channel. And for you guys, I'm now to you on a video. If you really live in Brisbane or on the East Coast, I'll be coming to Brisbane October 12th for a live podcast. If you're in the area, come down and join me at Football Fest. Until next time, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys for the Premier League review show. Same time, same place, next Monday. Till next time, see you later.